My guest at this time can be seen every week as part of Ring of Honor. He is the, I guess, leader of Violence Unlimited. It's Brody King. Brody, welcome to the Wrestling Nick Daily.
What's up, Nick? How are you doing?
So are you leader? Is it a pack of wolves? How does Violence Unlimited work here?
I think Pack of Wolves is probably better suited. I mean, I never think of myself as the leader. It's more of like a hive mind of like-minded people. Uh, None of us really take orders from one another, and we all just kind of go off of what each of us feel. So yeah, there's no leader.
I was about to say, man, because it's a group of tough dudes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and you call yourself Violence Unlimited for a reason. Homicide, Dickinson, Deppen. Before we get into some other stuff here that's going on with Ring of Honor, talk to me a little bit about this group. How did you guys come together? Why did you feel it was time to assemble you four and wreak havoc in Ring of Honor?
I mean, after everything with Villain Enterprises, I felt like I needed to be my own person. I needed to show that I could stand on my own and make an impact myself. But then as the landscape of Ring of Honor changed, it became apparent that, being by yourself wasn't always the smartest move with stuff like Foundation and LFI. The numbers are obviously going to get against you no matter how tough you are. So, it took a little, I wouldn't even say it was very hard to put the feelers out and get the people that I got. It just seemed to come together very organically. And the people that ended up coming to my aid or my side were definitely a group of killers.
Dude, no kidding, man. Talk about killers. Homicide, right? What a legend in Ring of Honor. How is it getting to work with Homicide in this capacity where you guys are standing side by side?
I mean, it's awesome. I think that Homicide is by far one of the most. I don't even like using the word underrated because I feel like it gets bastardized too much, but he really is. I mean, he's a former Ring of Honor world champion. He was there literally since the first show of Ring of Honor. He's a mainstay and a staple of the name when you think of Ring of Honor, and I feel like he gets shadowed by obviously people like Generico and Kevin Steen and Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, but Homicide, he's right there in the mix with all of them. He was tight with Joe. He was tight with Low Key. Like he had the Rottweilers were, a main part of Ring of Honor for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for sure. And you right now are doing, you say you want to stand on your own as a man, and you really did that, right? At the last pay-per-view, dominant performance over Jay Lethal, who's really been a big standard bearer for the company as well. I mean, after a performance like that and with the momentum you've got here, I mean, I got to imagine your sights are pretty straight to the top of Ring of Honor at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, it was definitely more, my sights are more set on destroying LFI and, bringing honor back to Ring of Honor through violence. I know that Foundation, their quest for purity and their quest to make, Ring of Honor what it once was, whatever, at the end of the day, it's bullshit because Ring of Honor was built on way more than just pure technical wrestling. And I think that that's apparent by someone like Bryan Danielson, who kind of showed that, violence is the answer. And when he's bleeding profusely and just elbow strikes to the head on Nigel McGuinness, and just, that's not hold to hold. That's not pure wrestling. No one gives a shit about that. So it's like, it's more about showing that Ring of Honor is more than just one dimensional. And when we get down to Roosh and LFI and his family, they've just been a thorn in the side of I feel everybody in Ring of Honor, not just me. They walk around like they are the best and the baddest people there, and unless they're getting a sucker punch on you and getting one up on you, then they really got nothing. I mean, from Final Battle, when his father hit me in the head with a chair and he won that match and cost me the title, to, every other time he's been in the ring with Shane Taylor, with Jay Lethal, it doesn't matter. Like, it's always his family that has to come out there and come to his aid. So, people try to say that Roosh is one of the most dominant champions in Ring of Honor history. I think he's one of the worst champions in Ring of Honor history. So, to each his own.
Yeah, to each his own for sure. You talk about the foundation here, the Pure Wrestling. You did mention Gresham there. I mean, he's obviously synonymous right now with that. What do you think of the work that Gresham's doing right now with the Pure Wrestling division and trying to bring more spotlight back to that with the company?
So here's the thing. I feel like that there's some confusion with my or our, I should say, Violence Unlimited's problem with the foundation. It has nothing to do with the individual wrestlers. I mean, when you go from top down, it is stacked. Jonathan Gresham, easily one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet right now. In a technical bout, he is unmatched by maybe, I don't know. There's like Zack Sabre Jr. and a couple others that can hang with him.
Okay.
Jay Lethal, easily one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet ever, like in my opinion.
Yeah.
One of the greatest champions in Ring of Honor history. Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams both are incredible. And, they all have their accolades and they all have something that they bring to the table. But my problem with them is them overshadowing the rest of Ring of Honor and acting like the rest of Ring of Honor is beneath them. To say like people like the Briscoes aren't the foundation of Ring of Honor, or someone like Homicide is not the foundation of Ring of Honor. Like, of course, Samoa Joe had the pure title at one point, but he was way more than just a technical wrestler. So I feel like our problem with the foundation is their ethics more than individual people.
Okay. Well, you are getting to go back out again, and it was wonderful seeing you all in front of a live crowd at this last pay-per-view. But bad news came out in the past 24 hours, right? We obviously have Glory by Honor here on the horizon, but the show after that, Death Before Dishonor, having to be moved out of Florida, back to the 2300 Arena in Philly. What's your reaction when you see news like that, Brody?
I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious on why that's happening. I feel like a lot of people were so eager to just get out and start doing stuff again in a post-pandemic world, but we're still very much in it. And I feel like that is sign of the times to come. I don't see this personally stopping anytime soon. I mean, me personally, I had COVID last week and I'm a fully vaccinated person. Thankfully, it didn't hit me as hard.
Wow.
It's still, there's growing concerns within the country, and it sucks to see that stuff like that happens, because I would love to perform in Florida. I would love to see my friends in Florida come out to the shows and have a good time. Like, obviously Lakeland and Ring of Honor have had great history together. And yeah, I hope that, we get to a point as a country that we are able to go wherever we want without worrying about what's going to happen, or what is the pros and cons of going to these places, like, other than just, drawing fans.
Dude, you had COVID last week after getting vaccinated. Like, how did you find out about that? Were you just feeling off and then went and got tested? Like, I don't even, I mean, that's pretty wild, man. I mean, I know it happens, but it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah. So, I just had like a really bad head cold, and I feel like you just can't assume anything anymore. You can't be like, oh, it must be allergies or cold. So, I went and got tested, and I tested positive, and I quarantined in my basement for a week. Thankfully, my children and my wife have continued to test negative. So it's yeah, I mean, it's when you see that positive outcome, it is not, it's not a fun feeling. I mean, I just hope that being vaccinated would help my case, and I feel like it did. I mean, I know that a lot of other people have had severely worse situations. I mean, personally, I've had a friend that passed away a few weeks ago from COVID. So I'm still here. I recently, on Sunday, I tested negative, so I guess we're out of the worst of it.
Dude, yeah, man. Wow. Well, first of all, I'm really happy to hear you're feeling better, man. And certainly a message to everybody out there to do the right thing, take care of yourself, those around you, that kind of thing. I mean, because being in that bubble, man, like, that's got to be rough, especially like trying to stay on point as a high end pro wrestler. I mean, long periods of time in a room by yourself doesn't really seem like the best way to prepare yourself for pay-per-view matches and things like that.
Yeah, especially when your meals are limited to whatever's Postmatable. So like luckily in Baltimore we had Chipotle, so that's like the healthiest thing you can get. But the other places there's McDonald's or whatever is close to the airport. So it definitely sucks to be stuck in a hotel room, especially when you can't go to the gym, you can't leave the room, you can't see your friends. Like the most you can do is like talk to your family on FaceTime. I don't know. It starts to be kind of draining after a while.
Jesus. Let's jump. Let's jump. Let's talk about some other stuff, Brody. You get to do a lot of really fun, cool things in pro wrestling. You not only have been doing Ring of Honor for a little while here, you've also been doing New Japan Strong, which has been so cool. You've been such a great addition to that show. How different is it for you when you go and do a New Japan show? Like, how different do you change up what it is that you do in those different environments there? I guess what I'm asking.
So I mean, obviously, New Japan Pro Wrestling has always been more sport based, and it is less. I don't know, less. It's not less storylines, but everything is within competition, I feel. And with New Japan, I don't know. I've just always had this like, I've always held it to a certain level of prestige, I guess. That lion mark has always meant so much to me. And since I became a pro wrestler, it was always my goal to work for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I always wanted to bring the best of myself to those shows. Not that I don't to Ring of Honor or PWG or wherever else I go, but I feel like I needed to hold myself to a certain standard to perform for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I feel like since New Japan Strong has started, I feel like I've more than proved myself to the New Japan locker room, and I've had an amazing time doing it. I mean, I've gotten to wrestle, Kenta, which was unbelievable. I never thought that was going to happen. I had a great title match with Tom Lawler. And we've had this ongoing feud with Team Filthy. But yeah, it's been a blast. And I feel like the coolest part about New Japan, and especially the Strong locker room, is that everyone just wants to see each other do better, and they want to make this brand that was literally nothing when we started succeed. And we kind of were set out on a task. When this started, it was like, yeah, this might be for a TV show. This might be for, whatever, to pitch to someone. Who knows what it'll be? And it just became its own monster. And I feel like New Japan Strong is really standing on its own. And we're going to really get the ball rolling when we start to do these live shows.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I believe this weekend, right, is the next big live show this Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is, New Japan was put in a very interesting spot here because of the pandemic, where there was like physically a line drawn for them in the middle of their business plan. And to see what you guys have done to New Japan Strong and really help New Japan keep what was supposed to be a really, really fertile United States expansion going, I feel like on the other side of this, there's going to be a big reward for that crew. There's so many matches you could do over there and people you could bring over there to here. It's just a really interesting dynamic that evolved in the pandemic for New Japan with the two kind of separate rosters out of this,
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if they had a distinctive plan on how to launch the New Japan US brand, but I feel like New Japan Strong really kind of took the reins, and we kind of made it, this is going to be the New Japan United States brand, and we're flying that flag high. And like you said, once we are able to travel, I feel like there's a lot of great matchups and a lot of great showcases that, myself and JR Kratos have had these like big knockdown, drag out matches. Like, I'm sure that in Cork Hall, that would be something to see. I feel like a lot of fans would want to see some of these matches that might have already happened here in the States would be just as fresh over in Japan.
Yeah, dude. Well, and it's cool because like there aren't a lot of guys that get to do what you do, float between these two big brands. It's really quite a compliment that both sides agree to make this deal with you, and it does leave the forbidden door open, as they say, so to speak. Ring of Honor and New Japan's relationship was obviously very, very strong during the pre-pandemic. As things start to thaw and open up again, are you anticipating more crossover with New Japan and Ring of Honor?
I mean, I hope so. I hope for, complete crossover to all brands. Like, I always say that I hate the term the forbidden door, because we are in a fan service business, and, keeping John Moxley from wrestling Jay Lethal is doing a disservice from the fans. I feel like I would love to go to AEW and wrestle, Miro or Darby Allin or whoever they would have me, just to have this like cross promotion. It's healthy for everybody.
Yeah.
And I got to wrestle the Good Brothers on New Japan Strong. So there you had like this weird AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, like full crossover, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see more of that. I would also love to see, maybe Ring of Honor feuding with, I don't know, GCW or PWG or like these other bigger indie promotions as well. I mean, I feel like there's just so much money left on the table with that, with, saying, oh, we don't work with that person or that person. It's like, who cares? Like, let the one big company that we're not going to name be that person that doesn't want to play with anyone, and let the rest of us have a good time.
Yeah. It's a great way to look at it. And you invoked PWG. It's like you're looking at my list of questions here. So obviously, man, you and Tommy broke a bit of the internet here over the weekend. Malachi Black, Aleister Black, Tommy End, whatever you want to call him, shows up in PWG. You guys get to have a great moment. Bandito. How was it to be in that space in that moment? I mean, it's got to feel really special to be able to pull off something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's crazy because, I feel like there's not a lot of surprises in pro wrestling anymore. And now Tommy has been the main focus point of two of them, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, that moment at PWG was insane. Like, I was a fan in the crowd when Super Dragon would have the lights out moments and the crowd would go insane. And now I'm like part of it, which is insane to say. And being able to have that moment with Tommy, and like, I don't know, it was just special. Like, he's always been a really good friend of mine. And like I told him the day of the show, it's like about 5 years ago, I went to Florida when WrestleMania was there. I think it was 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I did an Evolve tryout, and I was sleeping on his couch. And I think I had one WrestleMania weekend show I got paid like $5 to do. And I'm sleeping on Tommy's couch, and he debuted for TakeOver that day. And 5 years later, here we are doing our, like, preparing to do our thing together. So it was a really, really cool moment, like a full circle moment.
Dude, that's so awesome, man. And so, like, you bring up how you'd like to mix this all together. We did see the report that you were, I think, backstage at AEW. Is that just to kind of say hi to Tommy, or were you there? I guess.
I mean, I have a lot of friends that work there, and it was really good to see a lot of people I haven't seen in a couple of years, especially since the pandemic.
Yeah. Well, I certainly like the idea of Ring of Honor playing in the sandbox more. I mean, you guys have such a defined image at the moment between the work you're doing, and then I know they're not your favorite, but the foundation seems to have flushed out that wing of Ring of Honor. I think the new women's division is a very strong statement for you guys. So a lot of pieces really coming together, I guess is what I'm saying here, in a very long-winded way with Ring of Honor here coming out of the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the position that Ring of Honor is in. Next step is just to get the crowd back and get the fans feel comfortable coming back. I hope that when we do Philly, we sell it out and we blow the roof off of it, because I feel like Ring of Honor has an incredible roster of guys. Every time I watch a full show, there's multiple matches that I feel like stand up as a main event match in any company. So I would love to see Ring of Honor kind of get back to where it belongs.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Hey, while I have you here, last thing I have to bring up. So the other night, my girlfriend and I, maybe I had a brownie, threw on Netflix, and was watching the show. I Think You Should Leave. Big fan of Tim Robinson's and the show, and we're enjoying it and we're laughing. And all of a sudden, you come out shaking and being menacing, and I'm like, my God, that's Brody King. And she's like, what are you talking about? So this was really cool, man. How did this come about? How did you get to be a part of Tim Robinson? I Think You Should Leave.
It was crazy. Like, it was just completely by accident, really. My friend Madison, he runs the Suburban Fight no ring matches in LA. And I believe that like a producer or somebody knows went to one of these shows and told somebody about it. I don't know. The producers of the show hit up my friend Madison and was like, "Hey, do you have like a big, intimidating wrestler that can do this part for the show?" And he's like, "Yeah, let me hit up my friend Brody." And then I got the call, and he's just like, "Hey, have you ever heard I Think You Should Leave?" And like, this was short, like probably a couple months after the first season that I'd watched a million times by then. And I was like, "Yeah, I love that show." He's just like, "Well, they want you to do this part. Are you interested?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm interested." Like, of course. So I sent like videos of me just like yelling at my phone, and they were like, "Yeah, this is great. Like, let's do it." And then the pandemic hit, and then it just kind of went away. And I was like, "Oh man!" And then like in the middle of the pandemic, my friend Madison did a music video for this band Johnny. I don't know if you're familiar with them,
No.
but he asked, I Think You Should Leave, if they wanted to like piggyback on the shoot because they were gonna have a ring and they were gonna have wrestlers and stuff like that. And like, yeah, let's do it. And so yeah, that it just happened randomly in the middle of the pandemic, and I didn't really know who was involved or who was gonna be there. It was just a director, a writer, and a producer there when I was doing the bit, and then to see it in its full form, having Tim Robinson in it, having Connor O'Malley and stuff like that, it was pretty awesome. And that whole bit is insane and super funny.
Dude, Connor's the man.
Oh, yeah.
Connor's the man, right? Like, let him direct everything. I mean, dude, so here's okay. So I saw you and I was like, I'm not that surprised. Like, Brody's a famous wrestler, and like you have done music stuff, and I figured there was some kind of entertainment medium. But there was like another Ring of Honor connection that really made me do a double take. What was your reaction when you found out that Ring of Honor PR head Mark Kruskal actually not only gets to be in it, but he gets to do like a bit with Tim?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that was pretty crazy, man.
He was probably the last person I would ever expect to be on it. And it was just like, what is going on here?
Right. Dude, I had the exact same reaction. All right. So anyway, to put a button in this, do you want to do more TV film stuff? Is that on your agenda, or is all pro wrestling right now?
I would love to.
Yeah, you got a good look for it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're a very castable person, Brody. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for the time, Brody. Glory by Honor night 1 is coming up here, and I believe that'll be a chance for Ring of Honor fans to see you next. Is that correct?
Yep, it's going to be Violence Unlimited versus LFI, 4-on-4 in the ECW arena. So who knows what's going to happen?
There we go. Brody, where can people go find you, follow you, support you, all those great things?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BrodyXKing. You can get me on Pro Wrestling Tees under Brody King. And yeah, you can check out my band, godshate.us. You can find merch and records and everything else you want there. So, yep, that's those are my plugs.